Why the world's greatest civilizations vanishes, without a clear reason. Over 4,000 years ago, the Indus Valley Civilization, sometimes called the Harappan Civilization, stood as one of the most advanced societies on Earth. With sophisticated urban planning, remarkable sanitation systems, and a population in the millions, the Indus Valley was a marvel of its time. Yet sometime around 1900 BCE, this thriving society began to unravel. Cities were abandoned, trade routes collapsed, writing systems disappeared, and no clear conqueror was ever recorded. What caused this ancient powerhouse to fall into silence? Today, we examine the leading theories, grounded in archaeology, science, and historical records, that try to answer one persistent question. Why? The Indus Valley Civilization flourished between 2600 and 1900 BCE, covering parts of what are now Pakistan and northwestern India. At its peak, it stretched over 1.225 million square kilometers, larger than Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt combined. Its major cities, Mohenjo-Daro, Harappa, and Dholavira, displayed remarkable urban planning. Streets were laid out in grid patterns. Homes had private wells and drainage systems. Public baths, granaries, and dockyards revealed an organized and centralized government. Most intriguingly, the civilization developed a writing system that has never been fully deciphered. Unlike Egypt or Mesopotamia, the Indus left behind no known kings, palaces, or temples. Their society appears relatively egalitarian, a true outlier in the ancient world. So how did such a complex and seemingly stable civilization collapse so dramatically? One of the most widely accepted theories involves drastic environmental changes. Geological and climate studies suggest that around 2000 BCE, the region experienced significant shifts in weather patterns. The monsoon system, crucial to agriculture in the Indus region, became erratic or weakened entirely. This would have led to repeated crop failures, food shortages, and the breakdown of urban infrastructure. Without reliable water sources, cities could not be sustained. Satellite imagery and sediment analysis also point to the drying up of key rivers, especially the Ghaggar Hakra, which many scholars link to the mythic Sarasvati River mentioned in early Indian texts. As river systems shifted or vanished, people were likely forced to abandon the cities and migrate eastward or into rural areas. In essence, nature may have pulled the rug out from under the Indus Valley Civilization, not in one blow, but gradually, over decades. Another theory focuses less on the external environment and more on internal systems. As cities grew, they may have become too large to manage effectively. Urban planning that once worked at smaller scales could have buckled under population pressures. Archaeological evidence suggests that later phases of construction in cities like Mohenjo-Daro were less organized and of poorer quality. This may point to weakening central authority or loss of skilled labor. Add to that growing inequality or class tension, even in a relatively flat society, and internal decline becomes a more plausible factor. There's also evidence of increasing trade disruptions with Mesopotamia around the same time, which may have hit the economy hard. In this view, the collapse wasn't triggered by one catastrophic event, but by a gradual erosion of the systems that once made the civilization thrive. For decades, early scholars proposed that Aryan invasions from Central Asia may have led to the Indus Valley's downfall. This idea was largely based on ancient Sanskrit texts and early interpretations of the archaeological record. However, modern research has largely challenged this theory. There's no strong evidence of widespread violence, destruction, or warfare in the key Indus sites. Skulls and skeletons do not show signs of large-scale conflict, and no weapons caches have been found. Instead, some historians now suggest a more peaceful migration, or perhaps cultural assimilation, rather than invasion. Indo-Aryan groups may have gradually moved into the region after the civilization had already declined. So, while the invasion theory is mostly outdated, Population shifts still likely played a role in changing the cultural landscape of the region. Despite decades of the research, many questions remain unanswered. Why did the Indus script disappear so completely? Why have no monumental kings or religious figures been found? And why was their culture so advanced, not preserved in later Indian traditions? Part of the mystery lies in the undeciphered script. Without a readable record of their thoughts, laws, or stories, we are left to interpret ruins, artifacts, and patterns in the earth. Another challenge is that many Indus Valley sites remain unexplored or under-excavated, especially in politically sensitive or remote regions. As new technology like ground-penetrating radar improves, we may soon uncover new insights into this ancient puzzle. Until then, the story of the Indus Valley is one of history's greatest unresolved chapters, a reminder that even the most advanced societies can vanish and leave behind only ruins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the world's great unsolved collapses, be sure to subscribe to Why for more hidden history and forgotten facts. Each week, we uncover the stories that textbooks leave behind. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious.